Do you ever feel unsafe in your own body? Even when nothing is actually wrong? Like you can't fully relax? Like your shoulders are always tense? Like you're constantly scanning the room for something you can't even name? If you're an empath, this isn't random. And it's not because you're too sensitive. There's a very specific reason your body feels on edge, and it has less to do with weakness and more to do with your nervous system and your spiritual sensitivity. Today, we're going to talk about why empaths feel unsafe inside themselves and how healing actually begins. It's this unsettling truth. For many of us, our profound spiritual sensitivity, this incredible gift, often leaves us feeling deeply unsafe within our own skin. This isn't just about feeling overwhelmed by other people's emotions. It's a much deeper story, one etched into our nervous system, often starting long before we even understood what an empath was. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on why this happens, why your spiritual gifts can sometimes feel like a burden, and how healing truly begins by understanding this foundational truth. As empaths, our experience of the world is like living with an antenna permanently tuned to the highest frequency. We pick up everything: the subtle shifts in mood across a room, the unspoken anxieties of a loved one, the lingering energy of a place. This spiritual sensitivity, this deep attunement to the unseen currents of life, is truly a beautiful gift. It allows for profound connection, a way to understand the world and others on a level that bypasses words, fostering a kind of understanding that can be incredibly powerful. We feel deeply, we connect deeply, and we instinctively reach out to soothe and heal. But here's the paradox. This very gift, this innate ability to perceive and feel so much, often leads to a profound, pervasive sense of unsafety. It's like having your personal volume knob turned up to maximum all the time without the ability to turn it down. This constant barrage of emotional and energetic information, unfiltered and unmanaged, can leave us feeling exposed, vulnerable, and utterly disconnected from ourselves. It can feel like our body isn't a sanctuary, but a leaky vessel, constantly taking on water, making us feel trapped within its very confines. The core of this feeling of unsafety isn't a flaw in our sensitivity, but rather a complex interplay between this deep spiritual attunement and something much more primal: underlying trauma. The real root of this feeling of unsafety, this constant low hum of anxiety in our system, lies deep within our nervous system. For us empaths, we're naturally wired to be hyper-aware, attuned to the most subtle energetic shifts around us. We're like delicate instruments, designed to pick up on nuances that others might miss. But when this natural, exquisite sensitivity meets the harsh landscape of past trauma, it doesn't just get amplified, it often gets completely dysregulated. Think of your nervous system like a car's accelerator and brake. In a healthy system, you can speed up when needed, then smoothly slow down and come to a comfortable stop. For many empaths, especially those with a history of trauma, that system is stuck in a perpetual state of accelerator down or brake slam. Childhood trauma, any experience where we felt unsafe, unsupported, or overwhelmed, leaves lasting imprints. It tells our nervous system, the world isn't safe, be ready. And because we're already so sensitive, that message gets etched even deeper. This creates a state of hypervigilance, where our body is constantly scanning, unconsciously, for threats. It's like having an invisible radar dish perpetually spinning, searching for danger. Even when we're physically safe, our nervous system is still playing out old programs, interpreting innocuous situations as potential threats. I know this feeling so well. It's that constant tension in your shoulders, the shallow breathing, the racing thoughts that tell you something bad is going to happen. It makes the body itself feel like a source of anxiety, a cage we can't escape. This hypervigilance isn't a choice. It's a survival mechanism, brilliantly honed in childhood to keep us safe in situations where we didn't have control. But now, it's working overtime, causing constant physical tension, sleepless nights, and that general feeling of always being on edge, unable to truly relax into our own skin. One of the most heartbreaking consequences of living with a dysregulated nervous system and unresolved trauma is the way it often forces us to disconnect from our most precious internal resource, our intuition. For empaths, our intuition isn't just a hunch. It's our compass, our internal GPS, our spiritual sensing mechanism. It's how we understand the subtle energies, how we know who to trust, and what path to take. But imagine being a child, highly sensitive, picking up on every nuance in your environment, perhaps sensing when a parent was upset before they even said a word, or feeling the tension in the house. In those moments, if your needs were consistently ignored, your boundaries violated, or your deeply felt emotions dismissed with a, "You're too sensitive," or "It's not a big deal," what did you learn to do? You learned to override that inner knowing. You learned to ignore the alarm bells ringing inside, because listening to them often led to more pain, more invalidation, or more conflict. This overriding of intuition became a sophisticated survival pattern. We essentially told our inner voice, "Silence, you're getting me into trouble. I need to fit in, to be good, to be safe." We learned to put others' feelings, needs, and perceptions above our own. We sacrificed our inner compass to navigate a world that didn't feel safe enough for our true selves. The cost? We lost trust in our own internal guidance system. We became overly reliant on external cues, trying to figure out what was right by looking outside ourselves instead of listening within. This constant external focus leads to immense overwhelm, a constant seeking for answers outside, and leaves us feeling profoundly lost within our own experience, drifting without an anchor. When our nervous system is constantly on high alert, our intuition silenced, and our boundaries permeable, our own body, which should be our safest haven, can transform into a battleground. It becomes a place where the echo of past hurts and the overwhelm of present energies collide. Think about it. If your body is always scanning for danger, always braced for impact, it's not surprising that you start feeling it physically. We experience the anxiety not just in our minds, but in very real, tangible ways. That persistent knot in your stomach? That recurring tension headache? The chronic fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to fix? These aren't just random aches and pains. They are often the body's desperate cries for help, physical symptoms reflecting the internal state of overwhelm and unsafety. My own journey as an empath and a somatic spiritual alignment guide has shown me countless times how deeply entwined our physical symptoms are with our emotional and energetic experiences. I've worked with many sensitive clients who thought something was wrong with them until we regulated their nervous system. These physical symptoms only reinforce the feeling of being unsafe. Why is my stomach always bothering me? Why am I so tired all the time? These questions create more anxiety, leading to a vicious cycle. This constant state of alert, this perpetual internal warfare, eventually leads to profound burnout. It saps our energy, leaving us emotionally exhausted and depleted. It fosters a deep sense of isolation, because when your body feels like a threat and the outside world feels overwhelming, it's hard to connect with anyone, including yourself. You end up feeling like an alien, disconnected and alone, trapped in a body that doesn't feel like your own. So, where do we go from here? If this resonates with you, if you felt this profound unsafety, the good news is that healing is absolutely possible. For us empaths, the path to reclaiming our bodies and our lives truly begins with establishing a foundational sense of safety, both within ourselves and in our environment. This means consciously recognizing the deep impact that trauma has had on our nervous system. It's not about blame, it's about understanding. We need to learn to regulate that nervous system, to gently bring it back from that constant state of alert. This isn't a quick fix. It's a journey, a daily practice of tuning in and offering our bodies the reassurance they never quite received. Key practices for this healing journey include cultivating profound self-compassion, treating ourselves with the kindness and understanding we so readily offer others. It means learning to honor our intuition again, gently rebuilding that trust, starting with small nudges and expanding as we feel safer. And perhaps most critically, it involves setting healthy boundaries, learning to say no when our energy is depleting, and creating emotional and energetic space for ourselves. The goal is to create a safe internal environment, a sanctuary within our own being. Through this gentle, conscious process, empaths can absolutely reclaim their bodies, transforming them from battlegrounds into true homes. Our sensitivity, which once felt like a vulnerability, can then transform into the incredible source of strength, wisdom, and resilience it was always meant to be. If this resonated, I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. Your body isn't broken. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. And your anxiety isn't proof that you're failing. Your nervous system learned to survive in a world that didn't always feel safe, especially for someone as sensitive as you. And now, healing isn't about becoming less sensitive. It's about becoming safer inside yourself. That's the shift. In the next video, we're going to go deeper into something many empaths struggle with but rarely understand. Do empaths actually absorb other people's energy? Or is something else happening beneath the surface? Because once you understand that, everything changes. If you're ready to reclaim your energy instead of feeling drained by it, watch that next. And if you're on this healing journey, subscribe. This space is for grounded, spiritually aware empaths learning to feel safe in their own skin.